What is the real truth in comedy? Well, just know that I deserve to laugh, I deserve to weep. Feel for somebody besides me, give somebody else my focus. I'm down for the ride on the emotional roller coaster. I put myself in your shoes and walk a mile. Keep your head held high, I feel your pain, I know your struggle. For all of my brothers and sisters, just keep working and praying, and know that your day is coming.
Thank you. Good evening, good ass people. Good evening, good ass people. All right, I want to welcome everybody to Truth and Comedy. If this your first time at a show, raise your hand and be known, please, if you don't mind. Thank you. Welcome. Give those people a hand if you don't mind. All right. For those new to the show, I want to kind of let you know what's about to go down, what Truth and Comedy is. Truth and Comedy is a storytelling stand-up show where first you'll see a storyteller come up and tell us a story from their life. Basically, they're going to be giving us a page from their diary. They'll be open, they'll be honest, they'll be vulnerable. Sometimes it gets deep. And afterwards, a comedian will come up and they'll perform a set inspired by that story. So get ready for a real emotional roller coaster. You never know what you're going to get. And the purpose of Truth and Comedy is to show that no matter what we go through, you can find something to smile or laugh about on the other side. Because we all got stories to tell. And I want to see us laugh tonight, all right? And I could talk more, but I just love to just get into it and get started. But before I get started, I want to read what I call a quick truth. So when y'all came in, y'all filled out little cards, and I want to read some of the truths in the room tonight. Can I do that? Yeah. All right, so first quick truth. In the room, somebody said, learning to dance has helped me overcome my social anxiety and build a solid group of acquaintances and friends. So shout out to that person in the room right now. Yeah. And one more, someone says, I spent life as a functioning alcoholic for a year. Wow. All right, one more. Let's get up some love on that. All right, so are y'all ready for the show? Y'all ready to get started, have a good time? All right, so we should have some fun tonight. Coming to the stage first is a storytelling extraordinaire. She's all over the Metroplex telling stories. We're lucky to have her here tonight. Let's make some love, show your appreciation for Miss Devin Kodges.
All right, adjust for my unfortunate height or lack thereof. So, I remember my first proposal like it was yesterday. I mean, how could you not, right? His name was Dale, and he had my two favorite things. Blonde hair in a bowl cut, and his mom bought those Street Sharks gummies that my parents wouldn't get me. And my little 5-year-old ass walked itself over to Dale, and I said, Dale, there's no time to deny this any longer. I love you. You love me. Let's get hitched. And he said, maybe. And that's when I knew. I ran to tell my best friend, my dad. I busted into his office, and my dad is an inspirational speaker, so half of his wall is full of weapons, and half of his wall is full of toys. We operate on a very similar level. And I ran in and I said, Dad, I'm in love. And he said, who is it this time? And I said, it's Dale. And he said, Devin, we can get you those Street Sharks gummies. And I said, no, Dad, you don't understand. This is it. We love each other. We're going to be together forever. And he stuck out his hand and he said to me, Devin, one day you're going to meet a boy who's going to want to spend the rest of his life with you, and he's going to have to come through me first. He's going to have to ask me first. I get to make this decision, and I'm probably going to say no. But until that time, let's play. And he pulled out his favorite toy, which was also a weapon. It was a blowgun with real darts. And he took a shot at the wall and then handed it to me to take a shot. And my dad and I had a lot of excuses for target practice over the years, especially when it came to boys, because, well, when I was 12, there was the gay one. When I was 13, there was the foreign one. When I was 14, there was the foreign gay one, because I have a type. And then there was Dave. Oh God, I was 15 and Dave wore girl jeans and he was 4 years older than me. We had so much in common. We loved tacos and hated my parents. It was perfect. And my parents hated him right on back. I was 15, he was going on 19. My dad disapproved of him so much that he actually went out of his way to go on a field trip with us. Our theater would do competitions and we'd travel overnight, and my dad became the chaperone in Dave's hotel room. Y'all, because he thought he could delay the inevitable. But where there's a will, there's a way. And you bet your ass there was a will. In the front seat of Dave's 98 Nissan Sentra in a public park at noon on a school day. What's up? What's up? And I thought it was great. I thought it was perfect. Because he said he loved me. He finished high school eventually. This was great. I didn't even think twice about it. And so I started to think twice about it when a couple of days before I was supposed to take my driving test, I was late. For my menstruation, in case anybody was confused, I was late for my menstruation. All the men in the room are like, I'm out. Peace. She's talking about her period. So I was late, and I knew I had to tell my dad, because I had to get a pregnancy test, and he'd always supported me thus far, right? So I walked into his office, and I looked him in the face, and I looked at his toys, his Marvel action figures behind him, and his samurai swords on the other side, and I said, Dad, I'm in love. Dave and I love each other. This is great. He really, really cares about me, Dad, and I'm late. I might be pregnant, but it's okay because he loves me. He loves me. And so it's gonna work out. And he looked me in the face and he said, oh, I didn't realize my daughter was a whore. Get out. And so I did. I hid from my dad for 3 days. I would go in and I would say goodnight to him every night like I would usually do, and he would ignore me until on the third day, I went in and he was shooting his darts at a target on the wall, and without saying anything, he handed me the blowgun and said, take your shot. And I don't remember if I hit the target that night, but I do remember that I wasn't pregnant. What's up? Y'all, I blew out the candles on my 20th birthday cake, and I actually did a little cheer. I made it, yes! And my parents did a major cheer for that one, too, at that point. And I fortunately wasn't pregnant because Dave would break up with me a year later because I had the audacity to want to go to college. Type, the nerve, right? And so I told myself, I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done with boys that my dad doesn't approve of. And then I met him. I met him. Him is a blonde man who I knew in high school but never talked to. And him is a boy who had a tattoo of a Kurt Vonnegut quote on one arm and a Salvador Dali painting on another. And him is a boy who, when he kissed me at a party, grabbed me by the face and said, I love your sexy brain. And I was gone. I was gone. And I ran in and I said, Dad, I'm in love. I did it this time. I'm not fucking this up. His name is Nick Wilson. Do you remember him from high school? And he said, Nick Wilson. And I said, Nick Wilson. And he said, absolutely not, young lady. Anybody but Nick Wilson. I was like, Dad, I didn't even remember Nick Wilson from high school, really. He had to remind me. He had to show me in the yearbook that we were in the same school. Like, how do you know Nick Wilson? And he's like, Devin, I have seen that boy. So, y'all, here's what happened. My darling, vivacious, now husband, when he was a teenager, was on the trip with my dad and me for theater. And he was in a room across a courtyard with a window facing my dad's room. And my beautiful, brilliant boy thought it would be a great, fun prank to drop trow in front of that window and helicopter at my dad's room. helicopter. And so my dad said, anybody but Nick Wilson, Devin, I don't need you seeing those moles that I saw. And so I went back to my boyfriend and I said, and his response to the story was, it was just the butt and balls. Like, he didn't even see the front. To this day, he holds true to that. So I said, okay, we're done. We're done. We can't do this anymore. I love you, but it's over. And then he kissed me, and that thought was out the window. So my parents never approved of it, y'all. But Nick, every time my parents said no or that I couldn't do something, Nick was literally packing the boxes to move me in the direction of doing that thing across the country away from him. 3 times in the span of the 3 years we were together, I was always running away to pursue my dreams, and he was always chasing after me. Until finally, my parents begrudgingly staring at us, he packed up and moved into a shoebox 1,000 miles away from my parents with me, with a cat that peed on all of his belongings all the time. And we were poor living in Fort Worth. We were so poor, and we worked opposite shifts, but God, we were so happy. I've never been that happy. And then on December 31st, 2013 at 11:48 p.m., downtown Fort Worth, outside of a porta potty, he proposed. And it was weird. Oh God, it was so weird. Because, like, you picture it when you're a kid, like, oh, rose petals and flowers and Street Sharks gummies and just all these things that should be there. And I was in the bathroom and I open it up and there was no hand sanitizer in that bathroom. I still haven't told him that, if I'm being honest, but it haunts me to this day. And I open the door and there he's standing there and says, "This is amazing. I want it forever." And I said, yes. And y'all, I was so overjoyed for 20 minutes until I realized we'd have to tell my parents. So we flew home the next day, and I walked into my parents' living room, and I looked my dad in the face, and I said, "Hi." And he walked away from me, right into his office. And I followed him, and when I was walking, I would like to tell you that I was feeling confident. I would like to tell you that I was feeling excited, but mostly I was feeling scared at this point because I knew I had made the right choice, right? I had done the right thing, even though my dad was still asking me when I would start dating again. I felt connected to this person, and I walked in and I sat down, and he looked at me and he started rifling through his desk for something, and he just says, "Why didn't you ask for my permission? You are embarrassing yourself. You're doing this all wrong." And note here that the word "this" stands in for the phrase "my entire life." And I sat there and I looked at him and I said, "Dad, we love each other. He supported me. Even when you couldn't, he supported me. This is a really good thing. I need you to be happy for me, okay?" And he pulls out the blowgun and he sticks a dart in and he shoots it at a little plush man over my head about 7 feet diagonal. And he lands it in the head of that plush man right about where an eye would be. And he says, "Get Nick." And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. I will not be getting Nick right now. But among the many amazing qualities my husband has is his dog-like hearing. And so as I'm going to shut the office door, he shows up. "Yo, what's up? What's going on?" And my dad hands him the blowgun. And he says, "You get 2 shots. If you can land one closer to the center of that plush man's face than what I did, I'll approve of this. I'll marry your daughter." And his mouth is smiling, but his eyes are not. But I don't think Nick has noticed because he just giggles and says, "Okay." And he grabs it and lines it up and just shoots. And it goes 4 feet to the right of the target. And my dad doesn't even look at him. He just says, "You should probably take your second shot. And I guess we'll see where Devin actually belongs." And so my darling husband picks it up and just so fast shoots out another one, but that dart traveled in slow motion, just 1 centimeter away from my dad's dart. 1 centimeter closer to the center. And he goes, and my dad just says, all right, okay, I guess you can marry my daughter. I guess she belongs to you now. Congratulations. And he grabs his hand and he grabs my hand and Nick is laughing and my dad is smiling with his mouth but not his eyes. And I would love to tell you that I gave up there, but y'all, I was so mad. I was so angry that this is how it's gonna end. This is how this goes down. Me with the love of my life over a fucking dart. And so I grabbed the blowgun and I said, okay, 2 shots, right? And I grab it and I shoot 1 and it lands right in the fucking center of that doll's face. And my dad's like, whoa! But I'm not done yet. So I grab another one and I shoot it and I hear a dink. And I'm like, great, I hit a window. This is a good end to this. But then I hear my dad say, oh shit. And he goes up and he pulls the dart out of the guy's face. And y'all, what I had heard was the sound of metal hitting metal because I had landed my second shot exactly on top of my first, splitting the dart in 2. And this is by far the coolest thing I've ever done and probably ever will do. So like, I'm spending this coin now, all right? And I'd love to tell you that in that moment I went, feminism! Or I shouted, I decide, right? But y'all, I was so sad. I was so sad. And I looked at the boy who had crawled in a hospital bed with me when I mistook an ear infection for a concussion. I looked at the boy who moved thousands of miles to be with me, and I looked at my dad and I just said, I decide. I decide and I choose him. And that was actually pretty much the end of that. I never heard about it again. We got married 2 years later. We walked each other down the aisle after all of that drama. And we started our lives together, and I guess my parents decided to approve. They stopped asking me when I was gonna make a Tinder profile again. A couple days after the honeymoon was over, so that was good. And we did get a blowgun for our wedding gift. But y'all, even if they did approve, I don't really care anymore. Because if I am being dumb, if I'm making a mistake by being with this person, God, I'll make that mistake every day for the rest of my life. But also, like, he should probably watch out because I'm a really good shot.
Now, what we like to do at Truth and Comedy for everybody, it's your first show. We like to appreciate the person that just shared with us. So I'm going to say her name, and you're going to say thank you for sharing your truth, all right? Are we cool with that? Yeah. All right, everybody, that was Miss Devin Kodges.
Thank you for sharing your truth.
All right. That was a good story, and I'm the person that will be performing a set inspired by Devin's story. So just hearing that, I think it's safe to say that I'll never be chaperoning another kid's elementary school event again. Like, I didn't know the dangers I was in on those Aiken Elementary trips to the Arboretum. Like, I didn't know what Wendy went on these field trips. Like, people be worried about jocks and thugs at these schools, but fucking theater kids are savages. Like, I ain't even know theater kids were acting like that on the low. Like, Nick didn't have to do that. Like, Devin's daddy was just trying to be a nice dude, take care of the kids, show some love. He didn't go there expected to be traumatized. I didn't even know what helicoptering was. Like, I just learned that term tonight. And it sounds frightening to me. Like in my mind, I just see Nick butt ass naked on the couch in a La Quinta with 10 high school kids around him just cheering with some aggressive, hardcore helicoptering going on while he just screaming with his tongue out. Just all in the window, just. Could you imagine seeing that? You just chaperoning, minding your damn business, standing in the window. Nick, semi-solid high school genitalia just flailing everywhere. That's too much. That's too much. That's too much for anybody to handle. And what scared me even more is it wasn't even Nick's genitalia flailing everywhere that scared him the most. It was them damn moles. I'm like, what kind of moles did Nick have on his body that her daddy remembered that shit 8 years later? What kind of moles? They can't just be malignant. Like I just imagine Nick just and the whole time the moles just on him just laughing at her dad and just I don't know why I think moles sound like an 80-year-old person that had a tracheotomy through the secondhand smoking 2 packs a day, but that's just how moles sound in my mind. I don't know. But Nick was dead wrong for that. That's what I'm trying to say. And the only excuse he had, the best excuse he had was, come on, he just saw my butt and balls. If the only ground you have to stand on is he only saw my butt and balls, I think you need to get some new real estate. It's time to get some new real estate. Like that's not a good excuse right there. But like I get it, like I get the whole situation. I understand Devin's daddy being protective. I know what it's like for a father to be protective of their child. I know because I had to learn firsthand. The first time I met my father-in-law was at the Grand Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi. And he had lost all his money and was drunk as hell. And I think he was quite shocked because it was his first time meeting his Vietnamese daughter's boyfriend, and his future son-in-law was a Vietnamese boy that was bald-headed, caramel skin, and was wearing an extra large FUBU jersey with 05 on the front. It's not the Vietnamese person you really picture in your mind. That was me that he saw sitting at the table. And a lot of people I hear people talk about they want people to move to the United States to learn the language, speak English, but I really disagree with that strongly. Because the fact that my father-in-law couldn't speak English saved my damn life. It saved me from a serious ass chewing with a side of chicken fried steak. Like, he couldn't speak English, but I could tell he was pissed off. So we spent like the whole night playing angry charades. Where I just had to try to guess the act of violence that he wanted to commit on me based on a bunch of awkward stares and sudden movements. I was like, does he want to pimp slap a zit off my head and eat it right now? What the hell is he doing right now? Just staring at me mad as hell. Just, me dang. Me dang. Me dang. See my daughter back there laughing because she know what me dang means. I found out later that me dang means black people. So we spent a lot of time saying, me dang, don't get money, me dang, don't get money, me dang. Dao Yig Mai means I want to kill you, by the way. And if I would have known what I know now, I could have diffused the situation. I could have enjoyed my little chicken fried steak. Like all I had to do was just look at him and just be like, man, come on, all she's seen is my button balls. And just kissed him and kept on eating. It would have been a good situation. But like, things pass and like now I'm the father and I got a high school daughter. Like my daughter's grown up into a beautiful, intelligent, athletic little girl. Well, not even little girl, teenager now. You know, and I'm on the other side and she wants to do things like talk to boys and this is new for me. And like, she hit me yesterday like, Dad, can I go on a date Sunday? With who? His name is Jordan, Dad. He's real nice, he's smart, and I just want to go hang out. He likes me, I like him. Okay. What y'all gonna do? Well, Dad, we just want to go to the movies, maybe watch Thor and go get some yogurt. Yogurt is cool. I guess y'all can go out on a date too, on Sundays. That's fine, I love you, baby. Have fun. Do I get to meet him? Dad, what the fuck are you meant? Excuse me, baby, I got a hiccup, I'm sorry. Just got the hiccups real bad. That's, well, whatever you want, I don't have to meet him, but can I? Okay, all right, cool. And like, I gotta go meet him. So I'm gonna be in the back of the movies creepy as hell. And it's gonna take everything in me to not let the thug in me, the thug killer, run up on Jordan in the middle of Thor, Ragnarok. I think that's how you pronounce it. And just run up on him and Thor, like, hey man! Sir, would you please leave my daughter alone? This is stressing the hell out of me. Come on, dog. Chill out. And I just turned into Tyrese midway through my little speech. Please don't take my Aquafina from me! Aquafina! I need my baby! I need my Aquafina, please, Jordan. My daughter gonna kill me in the car for telling that, right? I just want you to know. So this might be the last truth in comedy if she stabs me in the neck. And it's not even a joke, I just wanted to say this, like, I find it very interesting that, like, Devin's hand in marriage came down to like a D-level ESPN event. Like on the bottom of the ESPN totem pole, you got the spelling bee, you got cup stacking, and then you got the World Series of blow darts. Y'all, my name's Byron Sams. I appreciate y'all for listening.